Hey guys, it's Jen from over at worldofjencraft.com, and this is card number 2 of the 3 cards that my card class is making in the month of May. The first card, if you missed it, was this one here, Hugs and Kisses. And then my third card is Sending You Hugs. Now we also have another project that I have planned. In my card classes, we usually do 3 cards and a little project, or I do 4 cards. So this month we're doing these 3 cards, and then I'm also doing this little note, post-it note holder that I put together, I think last week on a video. So this is what we're doing, and since I already did that for a video for you, I don't need to do another one. So let's get to the supplies, and I'll show you how to put this card together. So I did use Flirty Flamingo and Basic Black for my stamp pads this time. I also used the Crushed Curry and Flirty Flamingo Stampin' Up markers, a little bit of Wink of Stella, and some fine tip glue pen, but we're not actually gluing with this, we are decorating with this. We are enhancing our flowers. Yay! It's a dual purpose, I love it. Lovely inside and out is our stamp set that we're using for all 3 of these cards. And for this card here, I did use one of the leaves from the Swirly Scribbles Thinlits Dies. And then for, let me try and get this kind of over here. For cardstock and paper, I used a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Whisper White, scored or folded at 4 1/4 to make your card base. You're also going to need a 3 1/8 by 1 5/8 piece of paper, which that is not this. This is scrap for the flowers. Let's get the right one. Okay, so this one is the 3 1/8 by 1 5/8. Oh my. Basic black cardstock, you're going to need a 2 by 3 1/2 and a 1/4 inch by 5 1/2. Flirty Flamingo is 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. Emerald Envy, I did cut out these 5 little leaves from that. And from our Pick A Pattern DSP, it's 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. A 1 by 1, which we're going to make a banner out of, and a 3/4 by 3/4 for a banner, believe it or not. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do first is we're going to get our stamping out of the way, and then start building our card from there. So, Basic Black is what I used to stamp Lovely. Let me get this out of the way here for a minute, figure out how I want to organize everything. So that's just going to get placed up here in this upper left portion of the piece. And I'm going to bring this down so I don't bring my head in the way, just so I can kind of see where I'm stamping here. So hopefully that's right. Woo! Look at that! It's almost perfect. Okay, couldn't have asked for a better turnout on that one. And then Flirty Flamingo. And this one we're just going to bring down here into the right-hand corner. And that's going to go hopefully straight. Let's cross our fingers. 2 for 2. Okay, not terrible. I'll take it. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stamp out our little flower, which of course I didn't take that out. So hang on 1 second and let me grab it. All right, so here's our flower, and this flower did come from the Pieces and Patterns stamp set, which is another favorite of mine right now. So this is just going to get stamped out in the Basic Black, and we need 3 of them. And you're going to want to space them far enough apart so you can cut each one out. And if you notice, I'm not getting my die cutting out. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, my leaves. But I don't, I'm using rectangles, and this is great. So, and you can always hand do the leaves too. Those are pretty easy. Or you can use a punch, like maybe a 1/2 inch punch, and just punch that in half, so you get like a little leaf shape. So you don't even need a die for that, or you can even leave it without the leaves. But I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to start coloring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color 2 of these in the Flirty Flamingo with a yellow center, and one of them is going to be the Crushed Curry with the Flirty Flamingo center. Okay, so now that we have these done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my fine tip scissors, and I'm going to cut out each one of these. And how I did this, I know sometimes we struggle with cutting things out. And depending on the project, sometimes I cut directly on the line, as you guys have seen me done on some of my videos. And then sometimes I like to keep it on the outside of the line, almost like it's been cut out by a die cut. So to kind of help with your cutting, if you struggle with it, I learned a very, very, very long time ago, and it might actually have been when I first started scrapbooking. They told us, you know, because I used to cut out my ovals and my squares and my, well, maybe not my squares, but, you know, my hearts and whatnot by hand. And what they told us and suggested when we were cutting things out was to move your paper versus moving your scissors, and then you end up with a pretty decent cut. I mean, let me get this here on the screen. It's not perfect. It's probably not going to be perfect. I'm not sure if that's blurry or not right now, but you know, so don't beat yourself up if it's not perfect, because your recipient is not going to pay attention to if you have an exact 1/16 of an inch all the way around your cut image. They're just not. They're going to be thankful and appreciative that you took the time to put the card together, put a sweet little note in it, and put it off in the mail to them. That's all they're going to care about. So a lot of times we're our own worst critic. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know for sure I'm, you know, very particular, but you know, generally our recipients are just going to be thankful to get the card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the other two out. All right, so here they are cut out, and this is where our Wink of Stella is going to come in. And I'm going to go ahead and just color over this whole entire flower, just covering the surface of it. And I'm going to do it with all three. And this is where our fine tip glue pen is going to come in. And we are going to put some in just the center of each of our flowers. And what this does is it almost ends up looking like a little gelled area in the center. And I know I've done this in one of my other cards, but in case you missed it, it was a technique that I learned from Jennifer McGuire. So she added the shimmer brush, added the shimmer brush and then put like a glossy effects or liquid glass or whatever on top of it. And it just adds a little bit of extra gloss, a little bit of extra texture. You certainly don't have to do this, but I kind of liked the way it turned out. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put these off to the side. Woo! Oh no. Oh, okay, it's saved. Woohoo! All right, so these are going to go over here so I don't do that again. And then we're just going to go ahead and start building the card. So again, our card is scored or folded at 5 1/4. And then we're just going to throw on our paper. And that's going to go end to end, so you're going to want all of your edges matching and even. And then you're going to take this little tiny sliver of 1/4 inch basic black, and that's just going to be a little tiny border on there, like so. And that's going to get seated just right on top of your pattern paper there. Well, not on top, but butted up against it. So it's a little bit above it. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I usually have my volume turned down and someone was trying to call me. Oh goodness. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll get these layered on here as well. So we're just going to put our Flirty Flamingo on top of the basic black. And that's just going to go centered in here. And then for our sentiment, I did cut this one so I had just an 1/8 inch difference from this and the Flirty Flamingo, because I just wanted a little touch or a little peek of that Flirty Flamingo coming out from underneath of it, and it also gave me a little bit more room for my sentiment and the flowers. So I wanted everything to fit on here, so I made it a little bit smaller. In order to create our banners, I have also shown this before, but we are going to make sure my flowers are set up here. By the time I put my trimmer, I'm afraid they're gonna get squashed. Oh goodness, okay, hold on. There it is, okay. So I'm just gonna bring out my trimmer and hopefully you can see it, there it is. And the way I make my banners is this is a little 1-inch square, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take it and center it between the 1/2 inch marks. And over here, I'm gonna watch for 1/4 of an inch, and that's how I'm gonna make that one. And I'll do the same even with this little tiny 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna line it up so it's centered on the black side. And this one, yeah, I think I'll still go down 1/4 of an inch. And then you're gonna take your scissors and you're just gonna cut to the point of where the center is there. And that's banner number 1, and banner number 2 is going to be cut the same. All right, so we have our banners, we have our little sentiment, and the way I did it is I went ahead and I put Stampin' Dimensionals on the back side of this, and then we'll put the banners on after we adhere that. And that's just gonna go, I don't know, not quite centered and maybe over about 1/2 of an inch. So you kind of want to bring it down just a little bit. And you know what I forgot? It's a good thing I noticed it before. So, sorry, I feel a little scattered today. Usually I have this all done before I come on here. So what I did is, just for a little interest in this upper corner here, I took this little tiny stamp from the Pieces and Patterns, and I just kind of had it coming down from the top. So just, you know, nothing special, just kind of had it coming down a little bit, and maybe here and here. So that's that. Now we are ready to put our little sentiment on. Yeah, I like that little corner filled in there. Let's see, let me bring this over just a little bit. Okay, commit, commit, commit. We're done. So let's throw our banners on, and we're just gonna throw on this little cute green, our Emerald NV banner, and it's just gonna go right about here-ish, and then our little basic black. I just love the patterns in this paper pack and the colors. They're so happy, so cheery. All right, that's gonna go there, and then our flowers, which should be okay. I stuck those on with little glue dots, I believe, so let me grab those out from my cupboard and see if I can do this, because I should have done, okay, so note to self, next time do the liquid glass at the very end, or your glue, the fine tip glue pen. And then I took my little thumbs and just kind of brought up, you know, kind of creased where that little flower part was there. So this guy is gonna go, I don't know, probably like here. And then, yep, so fine tip glue pen, last step. That's what we're gonna do next time. All right, that's gonna go, and again, we're just gonna kind of push these up just a little bit instead of having them lay flat. And that's gonna go, I don't know, probably there. And then last but not least, our other one that is stuck to my finger. All right, so don't fight me. Might have to redo the, oh, it's not sticking. Well, okay, I guess I'll redo the liquid glass when I'm done. So, this one is going to go, well, let's do our little bendy uppy thing here. And there. Now that one's gonna go about up here. Works. And then I'm just going to take smaller glue dots this time, and I'm gonna put my leaves on. Let me bring this card back into the picture again. It always migrates off screen. So this one I'm just gonna stick kind of coming out from underneath of these at a little bit of an angle. And I'm gonna bring my other two in between these two. It's not looking exactly how I would like for it to. I need to get the right angle. That's not working. Let's see if I can pull this out and there. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And then I'm going to do two more here. So that's it. That is our card. Yay, it's done. So I'm not going to do it on screen, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to reapply my fine tip glue pen after the fact to make sure that I have the cute little little kind of bubble-like looking things in the centers of the flowers. Aren't those really sweet? You can kind of see the shimmer and a little, there you go, a little bit of that little, what that glue dries like. So thank you for sticking with me through this video. It was kind of a hot mess. I appreciate you watching. Please stay tuned for card number 3 on my next video. Thanks again. Talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. Oh, and I do have dimensions listed on my website, as well as my I'll have a PDF that you can print out with the dimensions and supply list. worldofjencraft.com. Thanks. Bye.